Hello, and welcome to Winnebago County Health Department's TV show, where we talk about public health and we relate it to your health. We've got a full show today, so I'm going to jump right in and have our guests introduce themselves.
My name is Autumn, and I am a health educator at the Winnebago County Health Department. I work with the reTHNK Alcohol Action Team, as well as the reTHNK Youth Coalition.
And I'm Lindsay Erickson. I'm co-advisor of the reTHNK Youth Coalition and tobacco prevention coordinator at the health department and coalition coordinator of reTHNK, the Lakeshore Tobacco Prevention Network.
Lots of titles.
Yes.
But you both mentioned in there the reTHNK Youth Coalition. Can you tell me what that is?
Yep, so the reTHNK Youth Coalition is a project of the Winnebago County Health Department. It's a youth-led coalition for youth ages 13 to 18, and they work to make Winnebago County a healthier place to live. And currently they're working on substance abuse prevention, more specifically working on getting an ordinance passed in the city of Oshkosh that bans all tobacco products in city-maintained parks.
Wow. You know, this is the first place that I've worked that they actually have had a youth coalition, and I think it's so important that when you're trying to influence people that you're inviting them to be part of the group or the planning. So how long has this been around? When did the youth coalition start?
Yeah, so the youth coalition stemmed out of FACT, which is a statewide youth-driven tobacco prevention movement. So it's youth across the state, ages 13 to 18, just working to empower other youth to spread the truth about tobacco. So they do work on media advocacy, peer-to-peer education, just doing work around the community and meeting with state and local leaders to spread the truth about tobacco. So FACT started in 2001 in the state. Currently there's about 30 FACT groups across the state, so we're one of those. And so the youth coalition stemmed out of that. In fact, students do factivisms, which are fact and activist projects, activisms. So they do different activities around the community to raise awareness about what's happening with tobacco, who's affected by tobacco. And one of those factivisms that the students started doing in 2014 was cigarette butt cleanups in the parks. So these cigarette butt cleanups, they went around to different parks in Oshkosh and were picking up cigarette butts, and they realized that this is a huge problem. And so they were picking up all of these cigarette butts, and I have a few examples here. So these were all the cigarette butts. We have many more jars back at the office. Cigarette butts picked up in Riverwalk, Menominee Park. They also went to the Opera House Square in Oshkosh. These are all cigarette butts that they picked up within just a half an hour at each place. So they realized this is a huge problem, and they wanted to do something about it. They were sick of having to clean up all these cigarette butts. So in the summer of 2015, they started researching a potential solution. And so they came across an ordinance that was a tobacco-free parks ordinance happening across different communities across the state and the country. So they started, that was their big project.
Wow. I mean, it's like, you know, it's smart to think like how, instead of keeping the same process going, keep picking up the butts, let's do something about it. So where did that go from there? What are they doing now?
Yep, so after they completed some research, they realized, like Lindsay said, that there are municipalities out there that have tobacco-free parks ordinances, and so the youth have been advocating for that. Back in July, they presented at the Oshkosh City Council meeting, and then this November, just a few short weeks ago, they presented to the Advisory Parks Board, and now city staff is currently working on drafting an ordinance to ban all tobacco products in city-maintained parks.
Yeah, and that's it's such a neat video. Thanks to Oshkosh Media here, they go around and tape a lot of these government meetings, and so we wanted to share with the audience that little segment of when the students are presenting to the City Advisory Parks Board, because it really shows them getting involved and trying to make a difference. So we'll switch over and take a look at that video.
Some more reasons why tobacco-free parks make sense. Parks should be healthy places for the entire community to relax and exercise and be safe and just enjoy nature. An increasing number of cities and counties in Wisconsin are now going to tobacco-free parks. And some other park policies prohibit smoking in the Little Oshkosh playground, glass containers, and litter. Did you know that Juneau has a tobacco-free park ordinance?
Good one. So some common myths with tobacco-free parks. The first one is that there would be no way to enforce a tobacco-free parks, but like Ray said before, this would be a low-level priority for the police department, and many tobacco-free parks are enforced through peer and self-enforcement. We would want to make sure that there's enough time to provide lots of education to inform all residents of the ordinance so that everyone is on board before it's actually implemented.
Another myth we found was that people have the right to use tobacco when and where they want. No court has determined that smoking is a constitutionally protected right. However, everyone does have the right to breathe clean air. Tobacco use is a public health issue, not a rights issue. Another myth we found was that restricting tobacco will lead to decreased use of Oshkosh parks. The majority of citizens do not use tobacco. Oshkosh citizens use parks to be active and enjoy time with their families. Tobacco use is neither a healthy nor safe activity.
So one thing that we wanted to note through discussions with Ray and Chief Smith would be the issue of cost. So we did speak to the mayor of Wisconsin Dells, who passed a tobacco-free parks ordinance 2 years ago, and their costs associated with the ordinance was purchasing 35 signs, which for them cost about $670. If implemented, we would look into potential grants and other funding opportunities to partially or fully cover those costs. And then the biggest cost associated with this would making sure there's enough education to inform all residents of the ordinance to prevent any issues with enforcement. That funding is currently available to cover those costs. My time as a tobacco prevention coordinator, that would be part of my job. Also with the Youth Coalition, they would be providing education to the community. And so that would include staff time, community events, doing town halls, media, any other education materials.
Some benefits of tobacco-free parks: it would promote a healthier community, it would reduce this harmful cigarette litter, prevent secondhand smoke exposure, especially to little kids in playgrounds, increase safety and well-being of park attendees and animals. It would be consistent with policies for school grounds and athletic facilities, and everyone using the parks can be positive role models for our youth because we don't want our youth to start using tobacco, and it would promote healthy community norms.
So that was a short segment of the City of Oshkosh Parks Advisory Board meeting the other night, where the students were presenting to the board, giving them advice on why they think we should move towards this ordinance. You can watch the entire meeting on Oshkosh Media's website. It's really neat to see the students stepping up and trying to have a voice and know that they can be part of this decision process. But is there a way for the public to follow, how this ordinance is moving along?
Yep, so if there are interested youth in the community, they can contact either myself or Lindsay at the health department, and we would love to have more youth get involved. We're very flexible with when we have our meeting times because we understand that the youth have very busy schedules. And so we really work around their schedules. Frequently we meet on Sunday nights or whenever they're free. And so we're also presenting at other youth-serving organizations like the Boys and Girls Club and Youth Go to try to get more individuals involved. And so that just shows that we really want to collaborate with other youth-serving organizations in Winnebago County. And so we've actually also started a group for the youth coordinators of those youth-serving organizations. It's just our youth engagement group. We recently had our first meeting for that, and so if there are any other youth-serving organizations that would like to get involved with that group, they can contact either Lindsay or myself.
So it's a way for everyone in the community that's kind of working with youth to think about how are you getting them involved? How do you keep them involved? Because we want their voice. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep, yes, their voice is definitely needed. They have lived experiences and they're very passionate about changing their community.
Great. So as far as the tobacco ordinance, how do people stay up to date?
Yeah, so if people are interested in tobacco-free parks, we update our social media whenever we have meetings or presentations. So people can follow us on social media. We have an Instagram account, reTHNK_youth, Twitter, that Autumn does live tweets during our presentations. We're at reTHNK Youth Co. and Facebook at reTHNK Youth Coalition. So we post regular updates and we'll keep people informed of what's going on.
Wow, great. So what about if the general public wants to support this ordinance, if they are in favor or have comments for it, either way, who should they be going to?
Yeah, so we would welcome anyone who has thoughts on the ordinance to come speak at the either city council meetings or the advisory park board meetings. If they're interested in learning more or want to share their thoughts with us, we're open to having them email myself or Autumn. But we'd love to have everyone in the community who would be affected to come speak at the meetings.
Good. Right. Well, thank you both so much for coming and talking a little bit about the Youth Coalition and what they're working on right now. It seems like very important but fun work. Also, while you're here, Autumn, I wanted you to talk a little bit about another hat that you wear, and that's the alcohol team and the work that you do with them. So tell us a little bit about this Cheers course.
Yep. So to start off, the reTHNK Alcohol Action Team is working to reduce binge and underage drinking rates in Winnebago County. And that coalition is made up of law enforcement, UW Oshkosh individuals, some students, the DA's office, Human Services, among others. And like I said, we're working to reduce binge and underage drinking rates. And one of those ways is through our Cheers training.
Yeah, so this Cheers training has been going on for a while, and I actually got the chance to sit in on one of them with Autumn, and we decided it had a lot of good information that we wanted to share with you guys. So we put together a short video that kind of shows some clips, and we interviewed one of the presenters. So we're going to flip over and give you a little taste of what one of those classes looks like, and then we'll come back.
I am Brendan Bonnet. I am a police officer at the City of Oshkosh. I teach the Cheers course, which is also known as Responsible Beverage Server class.
My name is Autumn, and I'm a health educator at the Winnebago County Health Department. So I help coordinate the Cheers course, so I do all of the logistical things. Individuals who are interested in taking part in the Cheers class call me, and I get them all registered to go. I print all the materials and get everything together.
The purpose of the course is to teach people how to responsibly serve alcohol.
And during the training, they go over the exact process that they take to do the compliance check, so people are aware of the process. The purpose of this course is to change the drinking culture over time.
As a third shift officer, a lot of times my interactions with the community is a negative situation where somebody's been in trouble or is going to potentially be in trouble, and I saw this as an opportunity of having a positive interaction with the community. Currently teaching the class with Aaron Roberts. He is also one of the main officers that work in the bar district on Main Street. So we cover several different topics. The first topics we cover just cover basic knowledge about alcohol and society. Then we move into what to look for in someone who's had too much to drink, what you should do if you suspect that someone's had too much to drink, possibly they're incapacitated, what the police department's role would be in those types of situations. We then move into how to spot a legitimate Wisconsin driver's license or ID card. I will give you hands-on training, and then last we talk about local ordinances and state laws that apply to someone serving alcohol. If you are involved in the beverage server industry, you should take this class. That could be someone that works at a gas station all the way down to a bouncer at the bar.
It can definitely be an educational class. We've actually had a couple bars in Winnebago County contact us and ask if they could just send all of their bartenders to the Cheers course. They hadn't been caught or anything. They're just new bars that have popped up that they want to get their bartenders trained and ready to go so they don't fail a compliance check.
If you are not able to attend one of the classes that's hosted, you can make arrangements with the police department where I could come and have the class at your establishment, and all the way down to a 15-minute crash course in what a legitimate ID looks like and what to look for a fake ID.
Cheers is a course that the reTHNK Alcohol Action Team helps put on.
The class is free, and that's put on by Winnebago County Health Department along with the Oshkosh Police Department.
So that clip showed a little bit about what a Cheers course is and where it's offered. We'll keep that up on our social media sites and our websites, so check back to make sure that you're up to date on the latest dates. Again, for 2018, we have dates set of February 7th, May 2nd, August 1st, and November 7th. But as mentioned by the officer in that video, if one of those dates doesn't work for you, he is willing to come to your establishment and work on another course timing or option that'll work best for you and your employees. We just want to make sure that everyone knows the rules and that we're serving the best that we can here in Winnebago County.